Welcome to Module 2. In the first module, you took some major steps towards starting your own successful physical products business. You determined the marketplace that you'll start selling in, you created your own Amazon Seller Central account, and then you used the perfect product selection system to build your own list of hot product opportunities. In this module, we'll teach you everything you need to know about sourcing your products from anywhere in the world, as well as show you how to determine the true final profit for each of your products. This will be critical in making sure that both the product and supplier that you choose will result in your highest profits possible for your business. Here's exactly what we'll be covering. How much do you make from a sale on Amazon using Amazon's own built-in tools? How to guarantee that your product will stand out from all the others through a process we call product tuning. The 3-step simple sourcing system, creating a professional image for your suppliers, finding and contacting suppliers with our proven templates, calculating the true cost of a product, calculating the final profit numbers for your focused opportunity list, getting samples for your top opportunity where your business really leaves the digital world, and lastly, different ways to structure your physical products business. So let's get started, and I'll see you in the first video. Welcome to the next lesson, Understanding Amazon's Fees. And in this lesson, we're going to cover 3 things. We're going to learn about the various fees that Amazon charges you as a seller every time that you sell a product, how those fees play a role in your profit margin, and then how to use something called Amazon's FBA Revenue Calculator tool. Now, there are 2 different kinds of fees that Amazon charges you each time that you sell a product. The first is called a referral fee. And I like to think this more of as a commission because it's a flat percentage off of each sale. And that percentage is typically 15% for almost every category in Amazon. There are a few where the percentage is slightly different, but those are not very common categories. And if you do sell one of those, then you're simply usually paying a less percentage, sometimes between 8 and 12%. But almost every category charges 15%. In addition to that, they also charge you FBA fees, or Fulfillment by Amazon fees. And these are the fees that Amazon charges you to store your products at their warehouse, to pick the product off the shelf, pack it up into a box, and then to ship it actually to a customer. Amazon used to split out all these fees. They would charge you, for example, $1 to pick it, $1 to pack it, and then a variable fee based upon the size and weight to ship it. Now they just include it and lump it all into one calculation called an FBA fee. Now, in order to calculate the profit for every sale, we actually need to know all the different costs involved in that transaction, such as the cost of your product that you pay to your manufacturer, including importing it and shipping it to Amazon, the fees that Amazon charges that we just talked about, the referral fee plus the FBA fee, plus any advertising that you might have spent. Now, we're going to go over advertising in a much later module, but I just wanted to remind you that at some point we do need to take advertising into account. Now, why is understanding the profit important right now? Well, that's because it's an important factor in picking our final supplier. It's not the only factor, but it is a factor we need to consider when choosing our supplier. So let's take a look at a real example of how all these fees get subtracted from the sale on Amazon. Let's imagine a product is selling for $19.99. The referral fee would be $3 that Amazon then takes. The FBA fees would be $2.42 for this item, and don't worry about how I came up with that. I'm going to show you that when we get to the tool. And then the shipping to Amazon is going to be 50 cents. Now, I mentioned something here called a 20-cent label fee because when we ship our products to Amazon, there's an option to allow Amazon to apply their own barcode sticker onto the product. For starters, we find that's the easiest thing to do, and we still do that on several of our products. So when we average in the cost of shipping that product, it's usually about 30 cents an item for something like this. Plus, I'm adding in an additional 20 cents that I'm going to pay to Amazon every time that they label this product. So the total shipping to Amazon, including the labeling fee, is 50 cents. So then, after the end of that transaction, when Amazon takes away these fees, they're going to pay us $14.07. Now, that's not our actual profit margin because we still had to pay for the product already and import that product, so we need to subtract that out. So in this example, the cost of the product plus importing it was $5.80, and that means the net profit would be $8.27 or 41%, which is a very healthy profit margin. So next, let's actually go take a look at the FBA Revenue Calculator tool. The easiest way to find the tool is just to Google it using FBA Revenue Calculator. It's a lot simpler than trying to type out that very long URL that you see that comes up. So you can Google that and then pull it up. Now, before we do that, I'll need to tell you exactly what we'll need to use the tool. The first you need is the ASIN, or the unique identifier of a product sold on Amazon. For this example, we would use the ASIN of a competitor's product, one that's very similar to the one that we're looking to sell, in order for Amazon to accurately know the size and weight of that product. Then we also need to know what the selling price is that we plan on selling the product for. Again, the 20-cent FBA label service fee that I mentioned earlier, the estimated product cost, the estimated shipping cost from the supplier, and then I have an asterisk by those because we don't have those right now, but we're going to get the real costs later. We'll just estimate those while we're researching our suppliers. So let's actually go in and use that tool right now. So here I am on the Revenue Calculator tool. You can see up here I have my market selected. I'm in the US right now. If you're in one of the European marketplaces, you would Google for the European version, or Japan or Indian. You'd also Google that. It will take you to your own version of this, but they all work exactly the same. Over here is where you would type in the ASIN of the product if you know that. If you don't know it, you can also search for a product. So let's imagine we're searching for pruning shears. Hit search. It'll pull up several products. Here's the one that I want to use because this is the one that's closest to the product that I'm going to source and sell. And the important reason for that is because Amazon knows the dimensions of it. They know how big it is. They also know how heavy it is. And that way they can calculate exactly what their FBA fees will be for this product, and therefore what they would be for a product that I would sell, because it's going to have almost the exact same dimensions. Now, we're always going to use the right-hand column called Amazon Fulfillment. You can completely ignore your fulfillment over here. That's only if you're looking to do a comparison between shipping products yourselves versus using Amazon. We always recommend using Amazon's fulfillment for many, many reasons. So we're going to use that over here. So we're going to enter in the price of the product, which is $19.99. Then we'll enter in the other costs that we know of. Shipping to Amazon, including the 20-cent labeling fee. So that's 30 plus 20, which is 50 cents. And then we enter in the cost of the product, including importing that product to us, and that is $5.80. And then all we need to do is click calculate. And Amazon does all the calculations over here. Here's their selling on Amazon fee, or that referral fee of 15%. Here are their FBA fees right there. I'll put in one field, $2.42. It subtracts all those. And then this number right here, the $14.07, that is actually what Amazon is going to pay us every time that we make a sale. Now, we know that that's not our true profit margin. We have to deduct the cost of the product, which we entered there. And therefore, our net profit is $8.27, which comes up to a net margin of 41.37%, which is a very healthy profit margin. Now that you know how to use this tool, you can use it anytime you want to while we're doing the supplier research to get a very good estimate of what your true profit margin will be for your product. So that's it for this video. Now head on over and I'll see you in the very next lesson. Hi, Mike McClary here, and welcome to our next lesson, Product Tuning. And in this video, here's what we're going to cover: what product tuning is and why we need to understand it, how it relates to other physical product business models, how to discover exactly what people do and don't like about all the products that they buy, and then how to take this information and use it for your very first private label product. If you're not familiar with the term product tuning, that's totally fine. It's a new term that we've been using for about the last year or so while improving our businesses and our training. And it's simply the process of making minor changes to an existing product in order to make it stand out and, more importantly, better solve our customers' problems. It falls somewhere in between private labeling, which is taking an existing product and just branding it as our own, and product customization, which is making enough changes to a product that it truly becomes a brand new product. It's important to understand that product tuning may not always be viable for your first product because it can take more time and more money, but that's totally okay because private labeling is still easy and very profitable. It's exactly what thousands of us did to get our first product up and running. But the research that we'll be doing during learning how to do product tuning is invaluable and will absolutely make sure that your private label product is as good as it possibly can be. Let's take a quick look and see where private labeling and product tuning falls among the other physical product business models out there. First, we have resale, which is just selling the exact same product under the exact same brand as everyone else. Then there's private labeling, which is selling the similar products, but with your own branding around it. Product tuning is then taking that and making some small minor changes to improve the customer experience. Product customization can involve creating your own mold, which is actually what products are made in, and then adding features to it. And then invention is creating a brand new product that never existed before. The one thing to keep in mind is that when we go from the left to the right, the costs, the profit margins, and the level of complexity all go up. For example, getting involved in resale can be very easy and cheap to get into. However, the profit margins are incredibly low that you'll never make any significant income. And inventing can be very profitable, but it'll take years and years to get your money back, and it's very complex and would be very expensive to get involved in. So what does that mean for us? Well, fortunately, we've been doing this for a while, and we knew exactly the best models for people looking to start their own business and start making significant income quickly. And that is private label and then product tuning. These are truly the ASM sweet spots and have the best return on our investment in both time and money. In order to perform product tuning, we actually have to know what customers do and don't like and how to best solve their problems. So how do we do that? It's actually very simple. Amazon gives us that in the form of product reviews. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let's hop on over and start checking out some of the product reviews for the products in our hot opportunity list. Okay, so here we are in our product opportunity spreadsheet, and we're going to pull up a few of our top product opportunities and take a look at their reviews to see what customers do and do not like. So let's start off with the mini clothing steamer. I'm going to pull it up here. Now, a way to easily see the positive and negative reviews is to click on the total number of reviews. And then you don't have a real good way here yet of filtering or sorting, but if you go down and click on the most recent customer review, then you will see the sort by and the filter by. And what we want to do is first filter by all critical reviews. That's only going to pull up those that are a 1, 2, or 3 star, and that way we can kind of see grouped together what customers are having problems with. All right, so let's quickly read through here. Mandalina thought that it smelled kind of moldy and looked used. They might ask for an exchange. Nothing else yet. Let's see. This person used it starting in November 2016, only used it 4 times and it stopped working. Little green light won't come on. Was not hot, and there was not very hot and didn't have much steam. So we're seeing a couple things here, but it's important to note that just because you see a handful of customers with issues, that doesn't mean that there's an overarching problem with the product itself. Almost every product out there has between a 1% and 2% defect rate. That's industry standard, and that simply means that when products are made, either the quality control missed a few things or during shipping something was damaged, and that's normal. So we're always going to see a few negative reviews due to product defects. So a few defects are nothing to be concerned about, but if we start seeing a large percentage of them with the exact same issue, that's where we want to put something into the spreadsheet showing that there's a possibility of improving the quality control. So let's keep going down and see if we start seeing any themes. All right, so this person here, first we used it, Steam came on for 10 seconds, then shut off. All right, so it definitely is having some issues there. Down here again, Steam lasts only 10 or 15 seconds before it shut off. So we're seeing the same issue at least twice in a row very recently, as a matter of fact. I'm going to scroll down and see if I see that same thing on anything else. Here's one with small water storage capacity. I'm going to go to the next ones too before I start writing down anything. Let's see, stop working after a few issues. Okay, so then we had like 3 people that had the same issue with it stopped working. Let's see, this one, again, nothing real negative here. Water depletes quickly, so that's another one for the small water tank. Here's one about the cord being short and the water spitting out. Alrighty, nice compact design. Let's see, the cord is too short. Okay, so we found a couple things that are common here. So let's go over there and write these down. We'll make a note in this cell right here. We saw a couple people say, so on the cons, short cord, small water capacity, and let's see, so quality issues. So those are 3 things that we would be able to potentially address. Maybe not initially in the very first product that we were to source if this was our one, but we could, try to see if the supplier would have a longer cord. Ask them how long their current cord is, and maybe that's something that would be easy to do even right now. Also, for later on, maybe we have another model that has a larger water capacity. And then one thing we could definitely talk with our current supplier with once we find them is about how they handle quality issues. How many do they sample, and what do they do? What are their policies on defects? So these are some good piece of information that we're getting from customers about what they don't like. Now let's go take a look at what customers do like. So I'm going to go up here again, and instead of filtering on critical, let's filter on the positive ones, so all the 4 and 5 stars. And in general, just let's see, can't beat the price, works like a champ, so they like the price. Fantastic product. I'm just going to keep going down here. Worked really well. Heats up almost immediately. An auto shut off after 30 seconds of non-use. Let's see. Again, they're really liking how it works. This one, it comes with a detachable brush and storage bag. That's very good information to have, because perhaps if we were trying to compete with this product, we would need to at least have the brush and storage bag in order to have the exact true product. So let's go add that in. One of the pros comes with brush and storage bag. And let's continue on down looking for more things over here. Compact and convenient. People like the size. Heats up fast. That's the second one we saw of that. So let's put that down also. Heats up fast. And I'm going to go over and look for some more positive ones. Looks like this person had an issue, but the customer service took care of it. That's great. Right, so I'm not seeing anything. Doesn't spit water. Let's go take a quick look at the listing also, just to get some more ideas. I thought I saw this. So one of the things that they're calling out, that this doesn't spit water. So even though we saw a few reviews that might have said that it did, looks like that's one of the things they focused on, making sure it's a steamer that doesn't spit water out and mess up while steaming. Quick and powerful, so it heats up quickly and it's strong. And of course, they have their satisfaction guarantee. So these are, so let's also put in the fact that we want to make sure that it doesn't spit water. That's something people are concerned about. So heats up fast, and finally, doesn't spit water. So there we have some good items to look at as far as when we're dealing with our supplier, things we want to make sure that it doesn't do. We want to make sure that, they don't have any quality issues. And then we also make sure that it has, it heats up fast, it doesn't spit water. So when we're dealing with a supplier and we start communicating with them, we want to make sure, especially when we're looking at our samples, we want to test out and look for these features. Did the sample we have a long enough cord? Did the sample have a brush or storage bag, or did something that we need to ask them to provide? Did the sample heat up fast enough? These are all great things to use during our product research and looking at the samples, and also maybe coming up with future iterations of this product down the road. Now I'll close that out and let's go take a look at another one. I think I'm going to look at the Lightbox Tracer. Okay, so let's go take a look at the reviews again. I'm going to click on the top most recent one so I can get to the sorting and filtering. Then I'm going to filter on the critical ones. So let's see. Okay, as described, not bright enough though. Okay, go down here. This one, the USB cord didn't work. Down here, the light drastically dims initially. Okay, so some brightness issues. Half the box is black dots. They didn't like that checkered effect. Cord didn't work down here. Okay, so again, then some cord issues. And they found the pattern of LED lights in the box distracting. Let's add those before we think of anything else. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to insert a note. So on the cons, we have cord issues, also brightness issues, and I think they believe they didn't like the dots on screen. And let's continue on. All right. Another one saying the checkered pattern that comes from the light. Again, that's the someone else mentioned they didn't like the way the tiny LED lights lit up. So okay, it's lightweight. That's good. Screen is pixelated. Okay, so that's definitely one of the things that people aren't liking on this version. You know what? Let's take a quick look at their comment here. We're sorry that you didn't like the expectation that it's pixelated. It's actually a laser dot. Oh, look at this. They have another replacement, another model that doesn't have the same issue. Let's go look and see what they did here. I'm going to pull up that. So this is another model. So this one is the A4 and it costs $23.89. The one that we were looking at, I'm going to scroll up, costs $20.56. So here's what they've done already. They say the light here is stepless. I think that's what they mean, is it's not pixelated as in this previous model. So what they've already done, they found out that customers didn't like the fact that the light was pixelated, and they've already come out with another version of the product, which is great. They're doing exactly what we're talking about here. Through product tuning, or maybe this is be product customization, they're creating a better model. Doesn't mean they're stopped selling this one. People still like it. Still has a lot of great reviews, 171 reviews, but they have recently launched a newer one that's a better and looks and costs a little more. Let's continue down and looking at more reviews. Let's go down and look at the negative ones a little more. No cord. All right. Did not come with a cord. US cable didn't work out of the box. Okay, the same issue we had before. All right. Decent box. Missing pieces. Work great. Light's not bright enough. The same thing. All right. Again, someone else not liking the checked pattern. USB port was rusty. Let's see. Okay, so far we've covered everything on here, really. Now let's take a look at the positive reviews. Okay, 5 stars, great for tracing. Let's see, super thin. That's positive. People like it. It's thin, and it's, let's see, controls are simple. The USB cord is long. That's kind of nice. They have a long enough cord. The previous product had a short cord. This one has a long one. That's good to know. All right, love it. Space saving, light box, terrific. Just lots of good things about it. Thin and portable. Let's add that in. That's definitely something people are liking about this. Thin, I saw light, portable. So these are the pros. And also we saw that they have a long USB cord. That's a good option to know about. Let's continue going down. All right, so I think that's pretty much all that we need to cover here. So this had some cons on it. It had some cord issues, probably quality control. Maybe we need to make sure our supplier has a decent USB cord. Some brightness issues where it's too dim. And then people didn't like the dots on the screen, which they took care of with coming up with a newer model. On the pros, it was thin, lightweight, portable, and a long USB cord. So an example here be when we're sourcing this product, we also want to make sure we check with the supplier about the length of the USB cord, because if we're competing with this customer, this product, we don't want to offer a shorter cord. That might potentially make some customers unhappy when they're comparing it to our product. So now that you've seen how product tuning research takes place, it's time to take action. I want you to go through your top 3 product opportunities and determine what the customers do and do not like by looking at the reviews just like we did. Then I want you to make note of those on your product opportunity spreadsheet. We're going to use this information when selecting our final product and supplier. The goal is for our final private label product to cover as many of the customer likes and dislikes as possible without having to have the supplier make any costly changes in both time or money. In future products, however, we can use the exact same information that we've gathered to either improve our existing product or even create new ones through product tuning. And once you've done that, then you can head over to the very next lesson. We're going to learn how to use our simple sourcing system that'll show you how to source products from anywhere in the world. Thanks, and I'll see you there. Welcome to our next lesson, Simple Product Sourcing. And here's what we're going to be covering in this video. Why sourcing products is now easier than it ever has been. How to source products from the USA or EU. Sourcing products from China. Our simple sourcing system. And then some common pitfalls that you can avoid. Over the past several years, sourcing new products has become even easier for several reasons. However, the primary reason is because of Alibaba.com. Virtually any product that you could ever want to have manufactured is available on that one website. Now, Rich Henderson showed you how to use Alibaba in a previous video in order to get some estimated profit margins, but we're going to start digging in and using that in more detail in our upcoming videos. Supplier competition has also increased, which is good for us because it makes them hungry for our business. This results in much more competitive pricing and lower MOQs. Suppliers have also become much more familiar with Amazon's FBA shipping processes, and therefore they know how to make this work and make it much easier on you. Alibaba's also gotten much better at keeping out some of the shadier sellers who may be out there just looking to make a quick buck and take advantage of you. It doesn't mean that you still have to keep an eye out for it, and we're going to show you how to do that later on, but it's not as much of a worry as it used to be. And finally, we've developed an extremely simple sourcing process that anyone can follow. Where you should source from will depend primarily on the types of products that you're sourcing. For health, beauty, and cleaning products, you'll want to source in the USA or possibly the EU if you live there, using Google to do your searches. Health and beauty are pretty much any products that go inside your body or on your skin. And we've added cleaning to this category because cleaning products can readily be found available and made in the United States. Some examples are creams, gels, vitamins, and supplements. And the USA does have the largest number of suppliers and products of these types. But if you do live in the EU, it still makes sense to at least check over there because you might be able to find a local supplier and not have to worry about importing them. For pretty much everything else, you'll want to source outside of the USA or EU using Alibaba.com. This means they're most likely made in China because these products are usually too expensive to have manufactured in the USA or the EU. So how do you actually do this? Well, I'm going to walk you through the entire process in upcoming videos, but let's quickly go over at a high level how it's done. If you're sourcing for health or beauty products in the USA or EU, you simply do an internet search. You would type in the type of product you're looking for, plus the terms either private label or manufacturer behind it. Then you would reach out to the suppliers you see using the contact templates that we're going to be giving you in the upcoming lessons. Now, outside of the USA is actually easier. You use Alibaba.com. You'll also use the exact same supplier contact templates as we're going to use for the USA and EU. Alibaba has manufacturers from all over the world. Now, primarily they'll be from China, but they also have suppliers from Pakistan, Taiwan, India, and many, many other countries as well. The entire process can be broken down into these following steps. You select the product that you wish to source. You search online for suppliers, either Google or Alibaba. You contact 5 to 10 suppliers and ask for certain things such as pricing, MOQ levels, production time, and packaging capabilities, and we'll tell you exactly what to ask for in the upcoming lessons. You then order and evaluate 2 to 3 samples from different suppliers. You choose the best supplier based upon the product quality and the price and the other things that we asked for earlier. Then you work with the supplier on packaging and branding. And finally, you place your inventory order. Let's finish out this lesson by going over some common pitfalls that you'll want to try and avoid throughout this entire process. The first is basically fear. The fear that your suppliers won't want to deal with you because you're new, or that you might say something wrong. There's absolutely nothing to worry about. These suppliers are simply people like you and I, and they're people looking to grow their business. And they know that one of the easiest ways to do that is to bring in new customers, which is exactly what we are to them. Besides, we're going to tell you exactly what to say to them, so there's absolutely nothing to worry about. No matter how excited we are to get our products up and selling on Amazon, you never want to skip the important part of ordering samples. Being able to hold and feel and see the product before placing an order is a critical part of the process that you never want to skip. You also want to make sure that you focus on product quality. Selling a product with poor quality is a surefire way to have problems for your company and brand down the road. You also want to make sure that you contact more than just one supplier. Even though we'll only be ordering initially from one supplier, it's always a good idea to have a few that you've contacted before, just in case something happens and you want to change suppliers down the road. Now, having multiple suppliers you're talking with also helps you during negotiations. And you should never be afraid to negotiate. Hardly ever is their first offer to you your final offer. Finally, you don't want to underestimate the total amount of shipping time that it'll take to get your product from your supplier to you or to Amazon. Oftentimes, they'll tell you that it takes about 21 or 22 days for an ocean container to be shipped overseas, and that's correct. However, there's always time on the front end and on the back end that you need to take into account. So that's it for this lesson. Head on over to the next one, where I'm going to show you how to set yourself up with a professional-looking business profile. Welcome to the next lesson, creating a professional online presence. And in this lesson, we're going to learn why having a professional online presence will greatly help you out in this business, and then I'm going to show you how to set one up for practically free. An online presence is simply a collection of websites and social media profiles that define you and your business on the internet. And since we're selling products online, this is really the only way that people and businesses have of finding us nowadays. No one really uses the phone book or the yellow pages. Instead, they log into their computer, their phone, or their laptop, and they simply search and look you up. This is important because having a professional online presence creates immediate trust and legitimacy. And while these steps here are absolutely optional, we found that they will greatly help you when you work with potential suppliers. And since this is the module when we're doing that, it would be best to have this set up before you start contacting your suppliers. By setting up just a few online profiles, you'll be ready to go in no time at all. And the following are fast, easy, and nearly free to set up. The first and most important would be a domain email address. So instead of having a common email service, such as Gmail or Yahoo, it always looks a bit more professional if your emails are coming from a real domain similar to what your company name might look like. In this example, I'm using mike@ninjaspatulas.com if that were my brand or company name. Now, if you don't have a company or brand name picked out right now, that's totally fine. You can always try and just use your Gmail or whatever email address you currently have, or you can come up with a generic business name to use for now, since these are incredibly affordable to set up and you can always change it later on. Next will be a LinkedIn profile. These are completely free to set up, and LinkedIn is now the worldwide standard for both businesses and professionals looking to create a professional online presence. This way, if you're communicating with a supplier, if they look you up on LinkedIn, they'll see that you are a real person that they are dealing with, and it'll help out in your negotiations. If you'll be sourcing any products off of Alibaba, then you'll also need to set up a completely free Alibaba profile. And I've listed this after LinkedIn because if you already have a LinkedIn profile, it makes it very fast and easy to use that when creating your Alibaba profile. The last thing you can set up is a Facebook page for your business, which is separate from your own personal Facebook page. We're not actually going to use this right now. This is for future use. But later on, when you're building out your brand and then we're running ads towards your products, you will need a Facebook page. So it's always good to have it set up ahead of time, start getting a little age in Facebook's mind, because that makes it easier when you want to run ads later on. You don't have to publish it, and you can even change the name of this page, so it doesn't really matter what you call it right now. But I figured we might as well go out there and get one set up right now, just for future use. Now I'm going to log into my computer, and let's go take a look at how and where to get these different profiles set up. All right, so here I am on my web browser, and I have several tabs opened up. That way I can show you how easy it is to get these all set up. But the first one I'm on is GoDaddy.com, and this is where we can go out there and quickly get a domain and a personalized email address set up. You can actually use any of the hosting companies or domain sellers out there. There's HostGator, Web.com, dozens if not hundreds of them. This is just one example. I know that GoDaddy is very simple to work with, and they have a really good deal going on right now, which is why I'm going to suggest this one. If you go to their main site and click on promos, and then hot deals, you will see that they actually have a domain, a website, and an email address all for just $1 a month. And this is good for an entire year. That means that you could basically spend $12 and have a personal domain, email, and even a website, which we don't need, all for $12. Also, that way, if you do decide to get a different brand name or company later on, you haven't invested or lost a lot of money at all. So this is just a really good, affordable option. Just be sure to keep in mind that these promotions change all the time, and this just happens to be the one they have going on when I'm creating this video. When you're watching this, it may be a completely different promotion, so be sure to check out and see what other promotions GoDaddy has going on. Now here's how you set this one up. You simply click on the Get Started button, and this will describe a little bit more in detail what they're offering. So here's where you would do a search for the domain name that you want. And then it's going to tell you that you'll get a domain name, a website, and again, we don't need this right now, and also a personal email address. Plus, I love this over here, free human support. And GoDaddy really does have great support. So this way, once you make your purchase of your domain and your email address, you can have them walk you through the entire process. And they're excellent at taking even the most beginners of people like myself and showing you exactly how to get this set up. So I'm not going to walk through actually picking out a site and ordering it, because you can just simply do that yourself and then call GoDaddy to get it all set up. Now, once you do have your own email address set up, the next thing you can do is go and get yourself a LinkedIn profile. So let's create one right here. Let's say that I'm going to be Mike McClary, Mike at ninjaspatulas.com. Yes, I really do have that website. Let's create this profile. Now it's going to verify a few things here for me. Put in my zip code. No, I'm not a student. I'm an owner of Ninja Spatulas. And for the industry, let's see. We're going to pick out, I believe it's retail is what we want. And retail. All right. Click on next. And then you just answer a few simple things on here. Let's see, what do I want to do? We want to build my, I want to stay up to date in my industry. You can pick any one of those. It doesn't really matter what it is. Now they've sent a code to me. I'm going to go verify that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just confirmed my email address. So the next thing you can do, you just add a few simple things. It's going to walk you right through it, but basically upload a picture and type a little bit about you. I'll do that right now. You don't have to sit here and watch me do it, and then I'll come back again in a second when it's over. Okay, so I added a picture and I'm just adding some basic work details. So if you did create your own business, now just because you don't have a business set up like a corporation or S Corp or LLC, you don't have to have one of those to own a business. People own their own businesses every day. So you feel free to say that you do own your business. You are now an entrepreneur. You're working on a business. So there's nothing wrong with telling people in your profile that you are a business owner. So I'm going to put in some basic details here. All right, I work at Ninja Spatulas. I'm the owner and I'm done. And basically, there we go. There is my profile. You could go ahead and add any more information that you wanted to on here. But basically, really all you need is just an image, a name, and the fact that you are a real person owning a business, and then you're all done with LinkedIn. So that's it for this. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Alibaba next. Now, here I am on the registration page for here. I'm going to click on either the join free, or if you notice this down here, it says sign in with LinkedIn. And since we already have an account on LinkedIn, this is going to make this process really simple. They're asking just for some basic information. I need to give them this and my password. Allow access. And it's automatically getting us over here to create a new account. It's populated my email address, my name, my company name. The company name, actually, I'm going to, instead of the owner at Ninja Spatulas, I'm going to change that just to Ninja Spatulas. And you can decide not to receive this if you want to. I'll click on submit. And then we are done. We have created our own Alibaba profile in addition to our LinkedIn profile. This is all that you need, and we're going to be using this account in an upcoming video to actually source some products. But for the last thing, let me show you how to create a simple Facebook page for your business. Now here I am on my personal Facebook page. The only thing that I did is I actually just selected the option to create a page. It's under, you'll see it under your own menu up here. You can simply just drop that down and you'll see a button that says create a page. And once you do that, you will get to this page. And then I'm going to choose what type of page. I like to choose brand or product. And then the category again, I would make it as a brand because that's traditionally what we're going to be building here. And then you just give it any name you want for your brand. We're going to call this one Ninja Spatulas Round 4 because I've created several of these now. And I'll click Get Started. And then once we're done here, and then our page is created. Now we don't have a profile, we don't have a cover picture, but that's okay. We're not really using this page. It's not even published and available to anyone. We just want to create this to get it out of the way so that later on when we're building out our brand, it's already there. And also later on when we're using this to do some advertising during our promotion, our page has a little bit of age to it. Now that this lesson's over, you should have a professional online presence set up for yourself. That means we're ready to start looking for suppliers. So head on over to the next video and let's start doing that. Welcome to the next lesson, Finding and Contacting Suppliers. And here's what we're going to cover. Our plan for finding suppliers for your top product opportunities, how many suppliers you should contact for each of your products, and what to say in order to appear bigger and more professional, to get better pricing, and to get better products. This is where our business gets real, because up until now, everything we've done has just been us sitting in front of our computer. But now it's time to use the power of technology to speak with real people all over the world. But don't worry, there's nothing to be worried about. We've helped thousands of people with no experience at all do this before you with tremendous success. We even have our own proven templates that'll help make sure that you know exactly what to say and when to say it. By now, you should have narrowed down your product list to only 3 top product opportunities. You're going to want to find suppliers for each one of these. And once you get supplier information, not all your products will work out, and that's totally okay. You'll need then to contact 5 to 10 suppliers for each product opportunity. Your goal is to get pricing, MOQ levels or minimum order quantity, production time, and packaging options. Then we're going to use this information to pick one product and to finally order a sample for it. Let's quickly go over the different sourcing templates that we've already created that you can use. We have the initial supplier contact message, the sample order message, the product and packaging options message, the price negotiation message, the pre-order message, and then the inventory order message. You can access all of these by clicking on the documents icon below this video. And all these are zipped up into one single PDF file. You simply cut and paste the part of the information that you want into your own message and then insert your own personal details, such as your name, your company name, the supplier you're communicating with, and the product that you're trying to get information on. The message you'll be sending out during this lesson is the initial supplier contact message, and I have that up on my screen right now. All you'll need to do is cut and paste this into your own messages and then customize it with your information. And don't worry, this message asks all the necessary questions and will make sure that you come across as completely professional. Before we log into our browser and start looking for suppliers, let's do a quick recap of where to look based on the type of products we're trying to source. For health, beauty, and cleaning products, you primarily want to source in the United States, or you can look in the EU if you also live there, although you might not find that many options. And to do this, we'll use Google. For health and beauty, that's pretty much anything that goes in your body or on your skin. Some examples are creams, gels, vitamins, and supplements. And we've recently added cleaning products to this list to give you more options to source in the United States. Now, as I mentioned about the EU, the USA still has the largest number of suppliers and products of these types to choose from, but it just makes sense to at least check inside the EU if you live there, because it might be easier to not have to import these products. Now, for everything else, you pretty much want to source outside the USA and EU using Alibaba.com. Most of the products will come from China, and these are products that are usually just too expensive to manufacture inside the United States or the EU. So here are a few tips you can use when using Google to search for suppliers. First, you want to put your product name in quotes. That's called an exact match to make sure you're only pulling up that product. And then you want to follow it by one of these 3 terms: private label, suppliers, or wholesale. Now, I would only do wholesale if you aren't getting enough matches using private label or suppliers, because we're not trying to find wholesalers. However, sometimes you will find that if you can't find enough real private label suppliers, wholesalers might be willing to private label for you. So we'll kind of use that as a fallback in case we can't find enough. Here's an example. So if you're looking for car wash shampoo, you would put that in quotes to make sure you're only finding the car wash shampoo product, so not everything surrounding cars or shampoo. And then you would put the words private label after it. And that would pull up a good number of companies willing to private label car wash shampoo. Now, if you start seeing too many results from sites that you don't want, such as overseas sites like Alibaba or maybe even Amazon, because we don't want to buy this off Amazon, you can remove sites by adding a negative sign and then site : and then whatever the site name is at the end. So an example here would be, we're looking for car wash shampoo that's private labeled, and then we would put negative sign site : Alibaba.com to exclude all results from Alibaba.com. And this could be true for Amazon.com or any other site that you start seeing results from that you don't want to see anymore. Now remember, Alibaba is overseas, so if we're sourcing some kind of cleaning or beauty product in the United States, we don't want to go ahead and pull up a bunch of results for Alibaba.com. Now, here are some tips for using Alibaba. In order to limit your supplier search to trusted companies, you can check the following supplier types on the left-hand side of the screen: Gold supplier and Assess supplier. That'll make sure that you only pull up companies that have paid to be a member of Alibaba. That's the Gold suppliers. And Assess suppliers means that they have had an outside third-party company review them to make sure they are a legitimate supplier of these products. And finally, initial contact should be made using the Contact Supplier button built inside of Alibaba.com, and we'll see that shortly here. But after you do that, if they want to switch over and start using Skype and you want to do that, it's absolutely normal and totally fine, and much easier to do that because it's easier to have a real conversation back and forth without having to always send an email and wait for a reply. Okay, so let's start looking for suppliers. Now, when you do this, you want to capture all this information in your product opportunity spreadsheet. But follow along with me now as I go and start looking for suppliers on both Google and on Alibaba. Okay, so here I am on my product opportunity spreadsheet. And for this first scenario, we're going to be looking for something domestically in the United States. And so I've actually added another product to the spreadsheet because there were mostly things from overseas on here. I found one called Car Wash Shampoo. And I know that these type of cleaning products can be found in the United States. Now, please note, for those watching this training, do not try to source this particular product. It's at the very, very bottom of our criteria. As far as pricing goes, it's also rather heavy, and I don't believe it's going to offer a really large product opportunity as far as profit margin goes. And plus, lots of people will be watching this. I just wanted to use a good example for something that we can actually source in the United States so you can see how to do this. So let's go do a search for this. I'm going to copy the keyword of Car Wash Shampoo. I'm going to put it into quotes and then put private label after it. All right, so already I can see that there are a couple on here. At the top, these are more shampoo. So even though we're not going to be looking at this because this is for hair shampoo, it's good to know that this type of beauty product, like we mentioned before, can be sourced in the United States. However, we need to move on because we're looking for car shampoo. And I see that right here, private label car wash shampoo by the Filling Factory. So let's open that up in a new tab and we'll go down a little further and keep looking. So there's another for the Filling Factory. There's Alibaba. And again, we don't want to see any from Alibaba because we're just sourcing right now in the United States. So while that's on there, let's go put in the search term to remove all Alibaba listings. So that'd be the negative sign, then site, and then Alibaba.com. And that link should go away then. All right, if I scroll back down, I'm seeing the Filling Factory again, and I'm not seeing Alibaba. So that did the trick. So let's keep looking for more products. All right, there's one called American Label Company. That must be a label company, so that's not someone we would want. This Factory Direct Pearl Manufacturer. Let's open them up and take a look. And they're going to keep going down. I don't see anything else on here. Let's go to the next page. Okay, so I'm on page 3, and I see one here. It's by General Chem, and I see the word private labeling in there. So this might be another one to open up. We're going to open that right there. Now we have 3 tabs, so let's go up and start looking at them. All right, so the very first one is perfect. It's called the Filling Factory, and right on the very front page, they're telling you that they will private label car wash shampoo and soap for you. For pricing, you can call. For domestic companies like this, if there's a phone number on here and you're from the United States, I'd absolutely give them a call. Get that personal touch going. It seems to work better than shooting emails and Skypes in the United States. Overseas, people definitely want to use email or Skype. But if you see a phone number and you're comfortable talking on the phone, by all means call and ask them the same questions that we have in the initial contact template. So this is a good opportunity. Let's go add them to our list. All right, so on the product opportunity spreadsheet, what I've done then, and you'll want to do the same thing, is I've created a separate tab for each product that we're going to start looking for and looking at. So for example, we're going to look at the car wash shampoo. I'm also going to look at the mini clothing steamer. So since we don't want to clutter up everything on this spreadsheet or on this tab, I created a brand new tab over here. And here's the Filling Factory right there. I put their information in right here. Now I am estimating what I think they're going to tell us as far as price and MOQ, but let's go back and find another company. Okay, so the next one is Pearl. Let's see if we can see anything about private labeling. Nothing there so far. Scrolling down. Private label opportunities. However, I'm noticing something else. Pearl, even though this is a .com company, they are actually in Manchester. So if I was looking to source the United States, this would not be a company for me. However, if I'm in Europe, this might be someone that I'd want to look to. But I will close them down for now. We'll go to the other one. This is the General Chemical Corp. And right away, when I go on their page, I see they have a private label program. So this would be another company that I would want to reach out to. And I'll scroll down. Here's their contact information down here, telephone number, and an email. I could call them or email them, but again, I'd want to ask them the same questions that we did before on our contact template. So let's go and copy this information over as well. All right, so there I have the General Chemical Corp. I'm keeping the website link over there, the date that I've contacted them. Now, I actually haven't heard back yet. That'll happen in another part of this lesson, but that is the information I believe I'll hear back. And so that's how we start tracking the different opportunities and the results that we're going to be getting back from the suppliers. So let's go and start doing a search now on Alibaba. Okay, so here we are back on our product opportunity spreadsheet, and now we're going to look for a product on Alibaba. So we're going to look for the mini clothing steamer. Now, one thing I like to do is pull up the original product so I can see the image of it, so I know exactly what we're looking for over here. Now, we don't have to find a product that looks exactly the same, but we do want one that's similar looking at least. Sometimes it's better to have it different because that way it stands out more, but you definitely want one that's comparable. So there's what our target product looks like. Let's go over there and I want to copy the keyword, mini clothing steamer, and we simply type that in over in Alibaba and do a search. Now you'll notice we have over 2,600 products showing up, but we want to narrow this down a bit. We're going to select Gold Supplier, and then we're going to select Assess Supplier. And now we're down to 716 products. That's a little better. And we know that these suppliers are going to generally be much more trustworthy. As a matter of fact, when you look, I'm already seeing suppliers that have been around for 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. That's actually the same. No, these aren't the same. These two are the same, but up here these are different. So you can tell that these are, our filtering has definitely brought up suppliers that have been around for a while, which gives us a lot of confidence that these aren't going to be fly-by-night people looking to take our money. That's why we like to filter. So let's go down and try to find some products that look similar to the one we're looking for. There's one right there. It's a very affordable price, $1 and to anywhere from $1 to $3.70. Let's take a look at it and see if it looks like something we might want. It has some other pictures of it. This looks like a pretty good product, as a matter of fact. It looks very similar to the product that we are sourcing for. All right, so this would be a product that we could actually contact the supplier on. I'm going to leave this open. We could always go down and look at some other things on here too. They have some really nice pictures, which is always good. They have the brush also, which is one of the items that we're looking to have added to this because our product we're competing against has that. So this is definitely a company that we'd want to contact by using the contact supplier button. Before we do that though, let's continue looking for some more. All right, some of these don't really look like what we're looking for. Here's one though, the VMart handheld battery mini garment steamer. Let's click on that and take a look at it. And what's nice is Alibaba always opens up a new tab so you don't lose where you're at. Look at the pictures here. And again, these pictures look pretty nice. Let's see, let's go down and see though if they have more pictures. Here we go. Again, another nice picture. This one has the brush as well. This one has the clear back, similar to the one that we're looking for. This has a clear back where the water goes. Here we go. So again, this looks like it might be a nice product opportunity. Let's check the pricing out. So minimum MOQ of 1,000 pieces. Not too bad. We can always negotiate that. This one's more expensive, somewhere between $5.50 to $7, but chances are there's a reason for that. It's either product quality or maybe it has more features that were not available on the other one, the first one we looked at. So these are this is definitely another one that we'd want to reach out to and contact the supplier. So let's actually send an email right now so we can show you how to do that. So I'm going to click the contact supplier button. Then I'm going to cut and paste in the supplier initial contact template. I have my own version of that down here. This is the initial supplier contact message. Yours will be in a PDF format right below this video, but I want to copy this in. Let's go back over here and I'm going to paste it in the message. There we go. I'm also going to make this a little bigger so we can all see this easier. Now, the one thing you have to be able to do, you need to make sure we customize this so it doesn't have any of these generic things in here. Let's take out that. All right, we want to add in the person's name. So this person's name is up here. It's Cassandra Liu, it looks like, from the V-Mart Electric Tech Company. So let's go in and enter that in. All right, then we need to put our full name in down here. So my name is Mike McClary, and I am the owner of Mike McClary Co., or whatever my company name is, a company specializing in, and let's say that I am in kitchen, or home and kitchen products. Home and kitchen products. We are currently looking to expand our product line and are interested in one of the items that manufacture, and then I want to insert this product right here. And we'll just type this in. This is the V-Mart handheld, and I know there's some spelling errors up there, but we'll correct them here. Battery, power, mini, garment, steamer. So I could have just cut and paste this from up here, but it's just easy just to type it down in there. So now we're asking them, could you please provide me with the following additional information so that we can determine if this is a good fit for our product line? Are you able to provide custom packaging? What color logo options do you offer? What is the standard production time for each order? And then I'm asking for pricing, which includes packaging at the following MOQ levels. Now don't worry, we're not actually going to order 5,000 units. You could if you want to, but the reason we're asking for this is that we want them to know that we're thinking of the future and that we want to grow bigger, and we want to know what kind of savings we'll get when we are ready to order more quantities. By doing this, this is going to automatically put that thought into their mind and make them much more apt to give us a better price right now. I'm also asking them for some other information in order to estimate shipping costs. How many of their products come in a case, and then what the dimensions are for that case. And I'm going to show you a slick little tool later on that will help us estimate even ocean freight for these products. Then I just thank them for their time, and I need to make sure I put in my name, Mike McClary. My title would be owner, and Mike McClary Company. All right, so the only thing I need to do right now is click on Send Inquiry, and usually within 12 to 24 hours, I will find a response back from this company. And that's all there is to it. It's incredibly simple to search for products and suppliers on Alibaba, search the different products to find ones that look similar or viable to what you're looking for, and then send an email right from inside Alibaba to the companies and sit back and wait for them to reply to you. Now, keep in mind, I just sent one email to one supplier for one of our products. And what we really need to do is make sure that we contact at least 5 to 10 suppliers for each one of our products. And I know that sounds like a lot of work, and it can take a little bit of time to do, but trust me, the more suppliers that you reach out to and the more responses you get back, the better your end result will be. So you put in a little bit of time now, and it all pays off in the end. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and actually contact more people, but if I were to, I would simply go to the next product on my list, make sure that everything on here is what I'm expecting as far as the pricing goes and the MOQ. Then I click on Contact Supplier, paste in my initial contact template again, customize it, and hit Send. I would do that 5 to 10 times for every single product. So now you know exactly how to find and contact multiple suppliers for each product opportunity, whether they're locally and domestically by using Google, but more than likely using Alibaba to take advantage of the millions of products that are available from anywhere in the world. So right now, I want you to go out there and start finding and contacting at least 5 to 10 suppliers for your 3 top product opportunities. Then, in the next lesson, we're going to learn how to better estimate our true profit so that when our suppliers actually get back with us, we can finally determine which products to order our samples for. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Welcome to the next lesson, calculating the true cost of a product. And here's what we're going to be covering: why calculating the true cost of a product is critical to your business, what goes into the true cost of a product, how to determine your final 3 suppliers for each product opportunity, and how to get an accurate estimate of shipping and freight costs. Knowing the true cost of your product is critical for several reasons. You need to do this before ordering samples, otherwise it could be a waste of money. You need an accurate assessment of potential profit for the products you're looking at. You don't want to do all this work only to find out that you can't make any money. And it does help you compare your top 3 product opportunities and finally pick the single best one. So what's included in the true product cost? Well, it includes the total product cost from your supplier, also including packaging, logo, color, and inserts. Basically anything that you'll pay your supplier for that product. It also includes shipping from the supplier all the way to Amazon, and then an FBA label fee of 20 cents per unit. Let me quickly show you how we're going to be tracking this on our product opportunity spreadsheet. So here I am on the product opportunity spreadsheet, and I'm starting to clean things up a bit because I'm going to be adding a lot more information to this, and I want to get as much stuff that I don't care to see out of the way. Now I know that I'm going to be looking at 3 different product opportunities still: the mini clothing steamer, the LED Lightbox tracer, and the car wash shampoo. I've given up on the softball fielders mask because I couldn't find any suppliers for it. So other than those 3 that I just mentioned, I want to hide the rest so they don't get in my way. I simply highlight those columns, right mouse click, and say hide. And then the other ones that I haven't hid yet, these 3 over here, I'm also going to hide. So then I'm left with just these 3 product opportunities that I'm currently looking at. In the previous lesson, we contacted 5 to 10 different suppliers for each of our top 3 product opportunities. In this lesson, we need to start narrowing things down. And we're going to narrow down our suppliers to just 3 for each of our top 3 product opportunities. In order to make that more manageable, I've went ahead and added a few sections here that allow us to easily see our true product cost and profit for each product and for each one of our top 3 suppliers as well. Each product will now have a section enter information for supplier number 1, for supplier number 2, and also for supplier number 3. And if you notice, each one of these is identical and includes information that we just talked about in the previous slide. For every supplier, we have the supplier price, the shipping to Amazon, and the FBA label service fee. Those are the 3 items we just talked about in the previous slide. And we'll use those to calculate these other columns, but over here, we'll be entering this all during this video, or at least when it's over. The supplier price will be the total price of the product you pay to your supplier, including packaging, logos, or any inserts. The shipping will estimate, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll come up with an estimate per product to get that all the way from your supplier to Amazon. And then the FBA label service fee will always be 20 cents no matter what. Now, we're not going to go through and do all this moment, but I wanted to show you how you're going to be using this spreadsheet when entering the information on your products and your suppliers throughout the rest of this video. So now that we just looked at our product opportunity spreadsheet and recognized that we're only going to be tracking 3 suppliers for each of our top 3 products, it's time that we actually have to narrow down our suppliers to those top 3. Once you've heard back from your potential suppliers, and I realize you just watching this video now, you may not have heard back yet, but when you do hear back to them, you'll need to narrow down to your top 3 for each product based upon the following criteria: how responsive they were, how willing they were to be flexible in working with you, the price they gave you, the minimum order quantity, and then their product and packaging options. There is no magic formula for choosing your top 3 suppliers for each product. You can't simply go by price. You can't simply go by MOQ. You have to look at everything that they return with you and the entire experience of dealing with them in order to determine which 3 suppliers for each product you feel like you have the best chance of getting a really good product and a really good deal from. So once we've narrowed down the list of potential suppliers to just 3 for each product, once again, here's what we're going to need: the product cost, including packaging, inserts, logo, and everything else, and this will come from the supplier, the shipping estimate, and this will either come from the supplier or we'll calculate it by using the carton dimensions that the supplier has given us. And I'm going to show you a tool after the slide here so we can use that. And then we also need to know the Amazon FBA label fee, which is always 20 cents. So we should already have the product costs since we've already narrowed down a list to the 3 suppliers, and that was one of the things that they had to give to us. And we absolutely know that the label fee is always 20 cents. So that means that all that's left is a shipping estimate. If we've gotten that from the supplier, that's great. If not, and we're sending something internationally, I'm going to show you how to do that next. If your supplier is located in the same country as you are and the same country you're selling in, then an easy way to get an estimate is simply to ask them how much it would cost to ship the products to Amazon. Now, since we don't know the actual Amazon warehouse that you're shipping them to, simply give them your address. And the shipping charges shouldn't be terribly different. And remember, this is just for an estimate right now anyway. So if they're domestic, that's one place to start. However, if you're importing your products and they're coming in from overseas, you'll need to get an estimate either from a freight forwarder or from an estimating tool. And we found a great tool that you can use. It's called the Freightos tool, and the link is right here on the screen, and it's also in the private vault. Unless you already have a freight forwarder that you work with, I would use this tool to get an estimate. Again, we're not ready to set up the shipment. You don't need to go ahead and schedule it and hire a freight forwarder, but you just want to get a really good estimate so you can determine the true cost of your product. And this tool will give you that. Now, in order to do so, you'll need the shipping dimensions, which is usually in cubic meters and kilograms, of either the entire shipment or of each carton. And if you know the dimensions of one carton, the tool will actually take that and multiply it by how many cartons that you have and accurately calculate the cubic meters and kilograms for you. So either one is totally fine, and you'll need to get that from your supplier. Now, one thing to keep in mind when using this tool, it doesn't include the custom duty, which is basically a tax on importing products. And those duties can range anywhere from 3 to 3.5% up towards maybe 12%, but the average for most products is 5%. So what I recommend doing when estimating your entire shipping costs to include duty is just take 5% and multiply that of the product cost. So not your shipping cost, but whatever the invoice is you get from your supplier, multiply that by 5% and include that along with your shipping estimate for what your total importing or shipping costs will be. In addition to needing to know the port that your products are shipping out of, which your supplier should be able to give to you, and you'll put that into the tool, you'll also need to put in the destination city. And now, we don't know the actual FBA warehouse that your products are going to end up being shipped to, so I would simply pick the city closest to you, where you live, if you're in the country that your products are being shipped to. The reason is because even if the products end up going to a different city, let's say they end up going just to your freight forwarder's warehouse, or they end up going to an inspection service that you hire, the costs when spread out over the entire shipment of going to a different city in the country you live in are not going to be that much different. Remember, we're just estimating and trying to get a pretty good estimate, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So for simplicity's sake, and to come with a good estimate, just pick the city closest to you. If you don't live in the country that you'll be sending your products to, then you do want to try to find your inspection service that's going to be labeling these products and forwarding them on for you, and pick the city out that they're located in and use that in your estimate. Now, we've also created a new additional lesson called Using Freightos and Additional Product Opportunity Spreadsheet Info, and that's located in the Weekly Calls and Supplementary Lessons module at the very end of the course. That one has a little bit more information on how exactly to use the ship.freightos.com tool that we mentioned above, and it also goes into a little more detail about using that opportunity spreadsheet. I would recommend watching that lesson once you're done with this one right here. Now, because it's in a different module, I'm showing you a picture on the screen exactly how to find it. You go to the very end of the course into the Weekly Calls and Supplementary Lessons module, and then look for the Using Freightos and Additional Product Opportunity Spreadsheet lesson. It's currently number 8 right now as I record this, but since we continually add in the coaching call videos, that number may move down. So just look for the name of the lesson when you're ready to watch it. So now we can walk through this example of a shipping cost estimate. Let's imagine I bought 1,000 units at $8.05 each. So the total invoice was $8,000.50. The only reason I need that is to calculate the duty fees. The dimensions again were 7.72 cubic meters and 1,008 kilograms. So when I put that into the calculator, the ocean shipping per the calculator was $1,099. Now I need to add in the 5% of my invoice, which comes out to be $402.50. Therefore, the total shipping is $1,501.50. And when I divide that among the 1,000 units I have, that means that my shipping per unit is $1.50. And that's what I would be entering into our product opportunity spreadsheet. Okay, so now we're at the very end of this lesson, and it's time to start taking action. For each of your top 3 product opportunities, if you've heard back from your suppliers for each one, I want you to take the following steps. Update the final product costs using the total product cost that you receive back from each of your top 3 suppliers. So that'll be a total of 9 updates, 3 on each product. Also, update the estimated shipping costs using the shipping dimensions you also receive from them. And then you might as well add in the 20-cent FBA labeling fee as well. Now, please note that the estimated shipping costs for each product should be the same among each supplier. So if you have 3 suppliers, which you should, for one product, and you estimate the shipping cost for one of them, you should be able to use that for all 3, because if the products are very similar, then the cost for shipping them should be very close as well. So here's what's coming next. Once we've added in all the true product costs to our spreadsheet, we'll then be able to calculate our actual profit margin. And having our profit margin will help us determine our final product opportunity. We'll go from 3 product opportunities down to the one that we actually will be able to order our samples with, and then get moving on creating our own physical products business. So once you have everything done here, head on over to the next video, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the next lesson, calculating your final profit numbers. And in this lesson, we're going to cover calculating the final profit numbers for each of your top product opportunities, what's a good profit margin, and then how to use this information to choose your top product opportunity. By now, you should have entered the true product costs for each of your top products and for each supplier. That means it's time to use something we talked about several lessons ago, the FBA revenue calculator. So let's take action right now. Let's use the FBA revenue calculator to calculate your final profit for each product opportunity. I'm going to go into my spreadsheet right now and show you how it's done. Okay, so now remember, the easiest way to find the FBA revenue calculator is to simply Google search it, and it'll be the top listing. Now, the first thing we're going to need is the unique product identifier, also known as the ASIN. And we can find that on our spreadsheet by clicking on the product. We'll start off with the mini clothing steamer. We'll click on the link, and the ASIN is always up there at the very end. We'll copy that, and then we'll paste it into here and hit search. Now, if it finds multiple products, that's okay. You just pick the one that you know is the one you're looking for, and that's this one right here. There's the image. Let's go look. Yep, that's definitely the right image. Now, there's 3 other things we're going to need again. We're going to need the selling price, what we plan to sell it for, the total shipping fees to Amazon, and the way that we enter this, we enter the shipping costs, plus I include the 20-cent labeling fee that Amazon's going to charge us as well, and then the total cost of the product for the supplier. Once we enter those, we'll hit calculate, and that's going to tell us our true profit margin. So we'll go over to our spreadsheet. And for this product, the price that we can use, the target price, is simply the price that we saw when we were researching it. That'll be $29.99. We'll enter that as our item price over here. Now the shipping fees to Amazon is going to include the 20-cent label item fee. So that'll be right here, the shipping fee, $105 plus 20 cents. That's a total of $1.25. We'll enter that right here. And now we need the cost that this supplier quoted us for this product, including everything, packaging, labels, whatever we're going to need there, inserts or whatever it is. And that price is $6.15. Enter that in, and then we'll hit calculate. And our net profit is $13.84 for a total of 46.15%. Very good profit margin. Now we need to enter that number right there, the net profit dollar amount, $13.84, into our spreadsheet. So right here, 13.84. And there we can see our profit margin is 46.15. That's also what Amazon is saying. So this is definitely a good product opportunity. And what we'll need to do is repeat this for all 3 suppliers on this product. So the next one, the only difference over here is going to be the product cost. The shipping to Amazon will be exactly the same. The labeling fees are the same. So let's just go over there and update that with the $6.50. So we're going to change just the cost of the product right here. $6.50. Hit calculate. And our profit margin went down a little bit because this product's more expensive. So our margin is $13.49. Looks like I already have that over there, $13.49, for a profit margin of $44.98. It's matching up right there. And just, the only thing I'm doing with these profit margins is I am, again, dividing the profit number over the price, and that gives us the profit margin. So once you have the necessary information back from your suppliers, it's your turn to calculate the final profit numbers for your top 3 product opportunities and for all 3 suppliers of them. And speaking of profit, let's go back and talk a little bit about what a good profit margin is. So let's talk a little bit about profit margins. People always want to know what a good profit margin is. Of course, the higher the better. But in this industry, we've seen that having at least a 30% profit margin is really good, and that's what you want to target. And again, the profit margin is your profit in dollars divided by your selling price. A really good one is 50% or higher. And the reason that we're saying the higher the better, other than the obvious reasons, is that you should count on spending some amount on advertising all the time. We always factor in 10% of what we sell should go towards advertising. Some people do much, much more. They're very aggressive. Some people do a little less. But in this business, you need to count on having to get some paid traffic. So budget on some amount, and 10% is a good amount for that. Also, count on giving away at a steep discount some products during your initial product launch. It can be as few as 20 or as many as 100 to several hundred. It's completely up to you. Some people go very aggressive and give away hundreds and hundreds. Other people just give away a handful. Of course, the more competitive your niche is, the more products you might need to give away at a steep discount in order to start seeing some traction in the search rankings. You can also likely raise your product later to increase your profit margins, but you need to be honest about it. If you're going to charge more for your product or count on charging more, you have to truly believe that your product is better and higher quality, and that other people will want to spend money on the product, a higher dollar amount on it, because they're going to see the value. If you're selling just the exact same product as someone else, it's going to be a little more of a struggle in order to demand higher prices and therefore higher profits. But you also might be able to increase your profit margin by reducing costs. So if you start ordering larger volumes, you might get a volume discount from your supplier, or you simply might be able to negotiate with your supplier after a time in order to get some cheaper prices. So we're now finally to the point that we've all been waiting for, and that's to choose our final product opportunity so we can actually order the samples, receive the product, test it out, and then finally place an inventory order. But it's not just a numbers game. So when you decide and make the decision on what is going to be the top product opportunity, there are several things to think about. First off, you do need to think about profit and which one of these has the highest likelihood of making you the most profit each month. But maybe there's one that simply won't make you enough, and it's just as easy to remove it from the list. Maybe everything else looks good, but the numbers just aren't there, so you can take that right out of the equation. Or is there one that's kind of in the middle? It makes a decent profit, but you really have a lot of interest in that product. It's something you can see yourself really starting to enjoy and easily launch more and more products down the road. Or perhaps there's one that has a way less competition. Again, maybe it's not the highest profit margin, but its competitors that are out there only have a few hundred reviews, and you definitely see an ability for you to get in there and start ranking very quickly. So taking that into account, knowing that it's not just profit, there are other factors involved, I want you to do this right now. Look at your products, think about the things we just talked about, and then choose your top product opportunity. Once you do that, head right over into the next lesson, and we're going to start ordering your samples. So thanks, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the next lesson, ordering your product samples. While I'm sure the title of this lesson gives away what we'll be talking about, let's still briefly cover what we're going to go over. We'll learn how many samples you should order, how much you can expect the samples to cost, how you typically pay for the samples, and also how long it takes for the samples to usually arrive. By now, you should be down to your one single product opportunity. And for that one product, we'll want to order at least 3 samples, and each sample should be from a different supplier. Now would be a good time to review your product tuning notes to see if there might be any features or options that are readily available from the supplier that you'd want included with the sample. Now, don't try and customize your first product order. That's not what we're doing. We're just trying to keep in mind that if there are any things that would help solve customers' problems that the supplier already offers, then now's the time to ask to see it. Your sample should be as close to the final product as possible that you plan on selling. That way, before you place a large inventory order, it's almost as if you got to see the product ahead of time. Now, the samples will cost between $50 and $100 each, but that does include shipping. In the sample template that we've given you, we do ask the supplier to reimburse us for the sample costs if we go ahead and place the order, and that does make up for some of the expenses. You can usually pay for the sample several different ways, but a lot of it will be up to the supplier and what they accept. PayPal is by far the easiest, but not all suppliers accept it. You can also usually pay directly through Alibaba if that's how you found the supplier. The most expensive and cumbersome way is a wire transfer. You can use it if it's absolutely necessary, but it adds time because a lot of times you have to go to the bank to take care of it, and there's always an additional cost on your end for creating a wire transfer. Be sure to use our sample order message template when placing the order, and samples typically take about 5 to 10 days to arrive. Also, after a couple days, you'll want to follow up with the supplier using the sample follow-up template to make sure that the samples were sent out. A lot of times the suppliers get very busy and simply forget about it, so following up after a couple days will make sure that you get the tracking number so you can follow its progress and make sure that the sample gets delivered. Now it's time to take action. I want you to review your product research notes, send at least 3 suppliers the sample order message in order to order 3 different samples of your top product opportunity, and then 2 days later, after the supplier has confirmed that they sent it, follow up with the sample tracking message to make sure that they actually did send it and to get the tracking link. That's it for this lesson. I'll see you in the very next video where we're going to wrap up this entire module. Congratulations on completing Module 2 of the Amazing Selling Machine. Here are all the things that we covered in this module. The various fees that Amazon charges us each time we sell a product. How private label and product tuning are the sweet spot of the physical product business models. How to quickly find out what customers do and don't like about products by performing the research part of product tuning. Our simple product sourcing system. How to create a professional online presence in no time at all. How to calculate the true product costs and profits for your products, and finally, how to order product samples. If you haven't completed all the action steps from this module yet, that's totally okay, but you definitely want to try to do these before moving on to the next module. Here they are again. Research your top 3 product opportunities to see what customers do and don't like about them. Create a domain email and LinkedIn account, and be sure to get your Online Pro badge. Contact 5 to 10 suppliers for each of your top 3 product opportunities. Narrow down your suppliers to just 3 for each of those top product opportunities. Calculate the true product costs and profits for your products. And finally, choose your top opportunity and order 3 samples. Here's what's coming next. In Module 3, we'll evaluate their samples once they arrive and pick your final supplier. We'll then begin building out your very own new brand. We'll design your product packaging, and finally, we'll place your very first inventory order and more. So head right on over to the next module, and we'll see you there.